All right, guys, welcome back. So I was talking about this book in one of my recent videos, Beauty Secrets of the Bible. So there were a few things that I kind of wanted to mention. So I'm kind of doing like a part two, another quick video on this particular book. So I'm not going over by any means everything that's in here or everything that I've used or I'm intending to use. But as for a few of the basic things, so I know I talked about the cleanser in my last video, which for those of you that did not see it, the cleanser is just nothing but half oats, like oatmeal, just plain oats, unsweetened. So it's nothing but plain oats and goat's milk. Now, goat's milk was used in biblical times a lot. And so it's mentioned a lot in the Bible, like goats and goat's milk and stuff like that. So with that being said, that is why goat's milk is the favored type of powdered milk to go in this cleanser. So, however, you can absolutely use other things if you don't have goat's milk or if it's too expensive. So I have a couple things here. You could try Culture. This is like a buttermilk powder. I use this for baking and like other stuff, but this is something you could totally use. And you could even use your very basic like dry non-fat milk or whatever. So the fattier the milk powder, the better it's going to be for your skin, more nutrients, more moisturizing. But in a pinch, you can also use this. So you can use a lot of different things. And a lot of the products, the homemade stuff that you make, it's really just about experimenting. And even before I read this book, like when I was younger and I used to make most of my own skincare at home, same thing. I just experimented. I didn't really necessarily follow a concrete recipe. So anyhow, so that's about the cleanser. And I know I talked about using honey as a toner. So I have been doing that as well. I use honey as a toner. Obviously, organic and raw is going to be the best, but even the cheap stuff is perfectly fine. And then for moisturizer, just using like a few drops of coconut oil or olive oil, grapeseed, just whatever kind of oil you want to use. And personally, I really like olive, coconut, grapeseed. I like organic sunflower, organic safflower. So you want to be careful with some of those oils. Like with the sunflower and safflower, you want to make sure they're organic. Same if you're going to use like canola, because those can be like, have petroleum byproducts and stuff like that in them. So anyways, but that's one reason why a lot of times I do just stick to olive oil, avocado oil, and again, coconut or grapeseed. So depends on the oil, but you got to do your research and just pick what is best for you. But if you don't have access to these things, or you don't have the time or the money to go to the store, you can totally use whatever you've got at home. So just keep that in mind. It does not have to be fancy or expensive. You can just do your own thing entirely. And another thing I wanted to mention is the spritzer. So this is just a very small little spritz bottle. So I use this a few times a day. And you just kind of spray your face and neck. So you can even put some of it in your hair too, and kind of like, you know, it cools you down too. It's really nice. But you can put in your spray bottle different kind of like spritzing elixirs. So right now I just have purified water and essential oil in here. So I just have a few drops of peppermint oil, and it's very refreshing, invigorating. It's also really great for your skin, and it can, some of the time it can help you set your makeup too, depending on what's in it. So anyways, I do have some eucalyptus here. You want to be careful not to get the spritz in your eyes, but you can do all kinds of different essential oils. Those are just a couple I have here. For example, I also have patchouli, and I've got some lavender. Lavender tends to irritate my skin a little bit, so I have to be very careful with that, and you want to dilute it and do your research on dilution and whatnot, obviously, so you're not using anything too strong. And again, it's ultimately about experimentation. Another thing you can put in your spritzing bottle would be like a tea. So you have your tea, like you heat it up, boil it, you know, and then you let it cool off completely before putting it into the bottle, of course. And you can use any kind of tea you want: green tea, black tea, white tea, hibiscus. I recently have used aronia. It's like a choke cherry, which I've really liked that. And I've tried several different combinations so far. You can add essential oils to the tea as well, and it just really makes your skin glow, vibrant. You can use it before your makeup, after your makeup, any time of the day or night, before you go to bed, when you wake up, and it's just really great. So again, spritzing bottle. Another thing that I really like that it talks about in the book is, as far as using a makeup primer and also an under eye depuffer, is to simply use aloe vera. And you can get the kind from the store if you want to, but the book specifies trying to use just straight aloe vera from an aloe plant if possible. And so I have run out of aloe plants because for some reason I just don't know why I can't seem to keep them alive for a very long time. So I'm going to get a couple of more and hopefully they will last longer. But anyways, it's extremely cost effective. Also, aloe veras are also good for your living environment. They help purify the air. They actually work really, really well as air purifiers, like extremely well. So I would highly recommend aloe vera for a lot of reasons. But also, as most of us know, aloe vera can be used for sunburns, for a lot of different things for your skin. And you can also consume it, but you want to be careful about that because it can absolutely be a laxative. But I do really like the idea of using the aloe vera as a makeup primer, and apparently people say it works extremely well, even just as good if not better than the commercial products. And then also as an under eye depuffer. So I want to start doing that because I've been using under eye masks like 2 or 3 times a week. So just some cheap ones. I got these from Bell's. This is vitamin C, rice, and caffeine, but it's not entirely all natural. And also I just would much rather not spend that extra money if I don't have to, because that's one more thing to have to buy and one more thing to have to keep in stock among all the other things I have to keep in stock in my life for my family of 4. And so I am really excited to try using straight aloe vera as a primer and an under eye depuffer. And so with that being said, that's just a few extra things I wanted to add. They're all very basic. There's a lot more in this book, but I'm not going to go into detail obviously on every single thing. But I do hope these tips help in a nutshell. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to comment or email me as always. And I just really like this book. Like, honestly, I could read it over and over. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.